Minutes before tip-off in Atlanta, the Dream quietly sent out a note that rewrote the entire night. Starting point guard Jordin Canada was unavailable with an illness, and the name Karl Smesko wrote into that slot had never started a single game in the WNBA. Jalen Sherrod, third year in the league, first career start. On the night Atlanta absolutely could not afford one. And by the time the horn sounded in overtime, the Dream had lost 95-91, dropped to 21-13, and slid to 5th in the standings, while the team they were supposed to be chasing sat comfortably above them. But here's the thing. Nobody screaming about the box score has bothered to look at. The harshest receipt from that night isn't in the box score at all. It's sitting on a contract page in the Atlanta front office, a page that now runs all the way through the 2027 season, and it means this coaching staff has no escape hatch left. Stick with me, because I'm going to show you every document, every dollar figure, and the one precedent from this exact franchise that should terrify everybody wearing a Dream lanyard right now. Let's start with what actually happened on Sunday, August 16th at State Farm Arena, because the version floating around online is already wrong. This was not a blowout. This was not a laugher. This was a 4-point overtime knife fight that Atlanta led, controlled, and let slip through its fingers. Indiana walked out of it at 23-12 with a 4-game winning streak, and the season series evened at 2 games apiece. Caitlin Clark finished with 26 points and 9 assists. And she was the one standing at the free throw line after Atlanta cut it to 93-91, calmly knocking down both. Kelsey Mitchell scored 20, including a layup with 13.6 seconds left in overtime, which extended one of the most quietly absurd streaks in the league. 19 straight games with at least 20 points. Aaliyah Boston put up 18 points and 14 rebounds. And Makayla Timpson, who a lot of casual fans still could not pick out of a lineup in April, dropped a career-high 20 points with 7 rebounds and scored 3 straight baskets in overtime to shove Indiana up 6. A lead the Fever never handed back. If you enjoy the paper trail on this channel, the fines, the contracts, the rulings, the front office decisions everybody else skips, hit that like button and subscribe right now, because the rung of this ladder we get to in a few minutes is one almost nobody has connected yet. Now here's where the accountability trail starts pointing away from Indiana and straight at the Atlanta bench. Allisha Gray was magnificent. She matched her career high with 32 points, added 7 rebounds and 5 assists, and did everything a franchise player is paid to do. Angel Reese grabbed 14 rebounds with 15 points and 6 assists. Ryan Howard added 17. Isabel Borlace chipped in 10. So the talent showed up, and Atlanta still lost. Because at the end of regulation, with the game there to be taken, the Dream got 3 cracks at a game winner on 1 possession, 3 misses, ball still in the cylinder region, clock hitting 0. And Howard and Reese both had their chance in those final seconds. 3 misses on 1 possession is not a talent problem. 3 misses on 1 possession is a design problem. That is the coaching staff's whiteboard, live on television, coming apart under pressure. And when you lose a game like that after your best scorer hands you 32 points, the post-game press conference stops being about effort and starts being about employment. But that wasn't the whole story, because the collapse in Atlanta didn't start at the buzzer. It started with a pre-game announcement. Losing Canada minutes before tip-off meant Smesko had to reassign the entire spine of his rotation on the fly. And remember who Canada is to this organization. She is not a spare part. She was one of the players Atlanta made a point of re-signing this offseason on a 2-year deal worth $650,000. Specifically because General Manager Dan Padover said the plan was to retain the core. When your $650,000 point guard is in street clothes and your replacement is a 3rd-year guard making her first ever start, you find out very quickly whether your system is actually a system or just a very talented group of individuals sharing a jersey. Sunday answered that question, and the answer was ugly. And Indiana? Indiana made its own lineup call, and this one is going to get talked about all week. Stephanie White went to a 3-guard look in the second quarter for the 2nd consecutive game, which meant Sophie Cunningham and Lexie Hull were both off the floor at the same time in the middle of a road game against a top 5 team. Coming into that night, Cunningham was averaging 8.8 points, 2.2 rebounds, and 1.2 assists across 33 games, 30 of them off the bench, and she has been one of the best value pieces in the entire league this season. The Ringer had her second in its mid-season 6th Player of the Year rankings, behind only Janelle Salayun of the Valkyries. That is not a player you sit for creative reasons. And here is the delicious part. The part that makes the receipt sting. Sophie was celebrating her 30th birthday, and it was Sophie who gave Indiana a 78-77 lead on a basket plus the free throw. So White experimented, and Cunningham still walked into the fire and produced the go-ahead points anyway. Happy birthday indeed. If your coach benches you and you respond by taking the lead for the team, that's not a minutes cut, that's a mic drop. But that's not even the wild part. Let's talk about what Atlanta actually paid to be in this position, because this is the receipt that changes how you watch every remaining Dream game this season. On April 6th, the first day of free agency, the Dream traded for Angel Reese. The price was not small and it was not vague. Atlanta sent the Chicago Sky first-round picks in both 2027 and 2028, plus a swap of second-round selections in 2028. 2 future first-rounders, gone. And Chicago's general manager, Jeff Pagliocca, framed it publicly as a move about roster balance and opportunity for all parties, which is exactly the kind of sentence executives use when they think they just want to trade. Now sit with the mechanics of that for 1 second. Atlanta has no first-round pick in 2027. Atlanta has no first-round pick in 2028. Which means if this season ends the way the last 3 have ended, there is no draft lottery lifeline waiting to bail this front office out. You cannot rebuild through a draft you already sold. That is what all-in actually looks like on paper, and the bill for it comes due in about 6 weeks. What happened next is the piece that got almost no national attention at the time, and it is the single most important document in this entire story. Weeks after the trade, the Dream picked up the 4th-year option on Angel Reese's rookie-scale contract, extending her under contract in Atlanta through the 2027 season. Read that again because that is not a small administrative box check. That is the front office publicly welding itself to this roster construction for 2 more years. Padover said their 2 off-season priorities were to retain the core and remain opportunistic, and he said he was thrilled. They did both. He got his wish. Allisha Gray was secured with the franchise's one-core designation, which locks her in on a 1-year supermax and gives Atlanta exclusive negotiating rights. Brionna Jones signed a 3-year deal starting at an even $1 million for 2026, with increases in the 2 years after. Canada got the 2-year, $650,000 deal. Ryan Howard and Naz Hillman were both repapered. Every single one of those signatures says the same thing. The players are not the variable anymore. The roster is finished, the money is committed. Which means when this group loses a 4-point overtime game to a team that beat them with a career-high night from a bench forward and a 3-guard lineup, there is exactly 1 line on the organizational chart left to question. Hold that thought, because the precedent for what this specific franchise does next is genuinely chilling. And I'm going to show it to you in about 90 seconds. First, the loose thread everybody wants addressed. There were clips circulating after this game, and honestly, after half the games Indiana has played this season, of contact in the paint during rebound scrambles that never got whistled. Fans flooded timelines demanding a review, demanding an upgrade, demanding a fine, demanding somebody in the league office do literally anything. And here is the actual institutional answer, the one you will not see in a hype edit. Nothing. No public discipline, no announced fine, no upgraded call, no statement. The league's response was silence, and on this channel, silence from the league office is itself a receipt, because a pointed non-decision tells you exactly where the bar sits. Every uncalled hit that goes unreviewed becomes precedent for the next one. So, when people ask why Clark keeps absorbing contact that looks illegal in slow motion, stop asking the referees on the floor and start asking who reviews the referees, because that job description exists and somebody is being paid to do it. Clark, for what it is worth, did what she has done all season. Said nothing, argued nothing, and went and put 26-9 on the team that was hitting her. That's a whole different kind of receipt. Now the precedent, and this is the one. This exact franchise, this exact front office, has already shown you how it handles a coach whose team keeps getting stuck in the first round. On October 2nd, 2024, the Atlanta Dream fired head coach Tanisha Wright, 3 seasons. The announcement came right after the team got knocked out in the first round of the playoffs. Padover said publicly at the time that what they wanted was a proven winner, an innovative basketball mind, a culture builder. And 6 weeks later, on November 13th, 2024, they hired Karl Smesko out of Florida Gulf Coast, a coach with 611 wins, an 840-something winning percentage, and one of the great small school resumes in the sport. He earned that job. He has also so far produced the exact outcome that got his predecessor removed. Last season, Atlanta went 30-14, the best record in franchise history, finished first in the East, took the third seed into the playoffs, and lost the first round 2-1 to Indiana. The clinching game was decided by 2 points, 87-85, in Atlanta after the Dream had led by 7 at halftime. Franchise record regular season, same first-round exit, and this organization has now failed to get out of the opening round 3 years running. So run the math the way a front office runs it. You fired a coach for a first-round exit. You then spent 2 future first-round picks to import a 2-time All-Star and the league's back-to-back rebounding leader. You triggered her 4th-year option through 2027. You core designated your best scorer. You committed $1 million a year to your veteran center. You re-signed everybody. And in the middle of August, you are sitting 5th in the league, 1 spot behind Indiana, having just given away a home overtime game where your star matched her career high. There is no version of that sentence where the pressure lands on the players. That is a documented clock on a coaching staff, and it is ticking loudly enough that you can hear it through a press conference microphone. Smesko spoke to the media after the loss, and the honest read is that a coach in his position has run out of things to say that a win wouldn't say better. But here's what almost nobody noticed, and it is the cruelest detail of the whole night. The reason this loss matters so much more than a normal August loss is a single line in the playoff structure. The top 4 teams get home court advantage in the first round. Indiana walked out of Atlanta at 23-12, sitting 4th. Atlanta walked out at 21-13, sitting 5th. 1 overtime possession, 1 uncalled scramble, 1 game. And the difference is whether a team that has spent 2 future first-rounders and a Supermax designation opens the postseason at home or on the road. In a series, it has to win to justify every one of those signatures. That is what 4 minutes of overtime cost. And the schedule is not offering any mercy, because Atlanta's very next game was a trip to face the Las Vegas Aces, while Indiana went straight into a brutal run of its own. Toronto on the 18th, Dallas on the 20th, New York on the 22nd, Chicago on the 23rd. 4 road games in 6 nights. Whoever is still standing at the end of that stretch controls the bracket. And let's be honest about who Indiana has become, because it explains why the accountability trail keeps ending on the other bench. Through her 31 appearances this season, Clark is averaging 22 points, 8.3 assists, and 3.9 rebounds, shooting 45% from the field and 35.4% from 3. And she has done that while missing time, which makes the following stat even more ridiculous. Across her last 11 games, she is averaging 26.3 points, 9.4 assists, 3.5 rebounds, and 1.3 steals. And the Fever confirmed she is the only player in league history to average 26 or more points and 9 or more assists over an 11-game span. She already owns the record for the fastest player ever to reach 600 career assists. She set a league record with 5 straight games of 20-plus points and 5-plus assists. And she has passed Sue Bird on the all-time list for double-doubles by a guard. 700 career assists is coming, and it is coming faster than anybody in the history of either professional league has ever gotten there. Meanwhile, Mitchell has 19 straight 20-point games. Boston is grabbing 14 boards a night. Timpson is posting career highs off the bench, and Cunningham is producing go-ahead points on a night her own coach was experimenting without her. That is a team that has answers on every line of the roster. Atlanta spent 2 first-rounders trying to build the same thing and currently sits 1 game behind it. So here is where the paper trail leaves us. And here's the payoff to what I teased at the very top. That 4th-year option running through 2027 was supposed to be a statement of confidence. It is now a trap, because it removes the only excuse a struggling contender ever gets to use. Atlanta cannot say the roster is unfinished. The roster is signed, sealed, and option extended. Atlanta cannot say the draft will fix it. The 2027 and 2028 first-rounders belong to Chicago. Atlanta cannot say the stars aren't producing. Gray matched a career high. Reese pulled down 14 boards. Howard put up 17. When the money is spent, the picks are gone, the options are triggered, and the core is retained. Every single remaining variable is the staff that draws up the last possession. And this is a franchise that has already fired a coach, in writing, in October, for exactly the outcome it is currently staring at. That is not a hot take. That is the organization's own filing cabinet talking. My honest opinion? If Atlanta goes out in the first round again, that press release is already half written, and Padover's own words from 2024 will be the template. And if Indiana holds that 4th seed and gets home court, the Fever will have won the seeding battle in the exact game where the Dream's best scorer had her best night of the year. That is how brutal August basketball is. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think Karl Smesko survives another first-round exit with those 2 first-rounders already gone? Or is that job finished the second the buzzer sounds? And was White right to sit Cunningham and Hull together for 2 straight games? Or did Sophie's go-ahead bucket settle that argument permanently? Drop it in the comments, smash that like button if you want us digging through more contracts, options, and front office paperwork instead of recycled hot takes. And subscribe so you don't miss the next receipt. Because with 6 weeks left in this season, there is a lot more paper coming.